In 1350, what we know as the idyllic French countryside was a living hell. For more than 15 years, the people had suffered at the hands of English invaders. Little did they know that this war would last for another 100 years. But through this crucible of fighting, famine and plague, there would emerge the modern nation of France. England's King Edward III looked jealously across the English Channel. Wanting France for his own, he had added the fleur-de-lis, the symbol of France, to his own royal standard. This was an all-out declaration of war. And in 1337, he invaded. But France already had a king, Philippe VI. As the English burned their way across the land, Philippe's army and his legendary knights marched to meet them and came face to face with the English longbow. A simple weapon, but the most devastating the knights had ever faced. The heroes of France fell to storms of English arrows. The war engulfed the French countryside. By 1351, the conflict was focused on Brittany. One fight stands out as a spectacular display of chivalry and a symbol of the wider conflict between the two enemy nations. The Combat of the 30 is still commemorated here in Brittany. It was a dispute between two local families. Supported by the opposing sides in the war, the French and English commanders decided to settle it through a trial of knightly combat. Each side would choose 30 champions to fight on neutral ground. France prepared to defend itself against England's finest. Intent on ending the suffering of the French peasantry, Sir Jean de Beaumanoir sent a challenge to the English commander. 30 champions on each side would compete in a tournament for final claim to Brittany. With the battleground of the halfway oak agreed upon, Sir Jean set out to gather support from local knights. As a knight himself, Sir Jean followed the strict rules of chivalry and was expected to protect the local peasantry and ensure peace.
Bien savez quo un pied ci, un pied là. Guardez vos compagnons!
Most medieval tournaments were friendly in nature, held for sport and glory, but the Combat of the 30 was arranged between opponents mired in war. English raids had torn through the countryside of Brittany and brought great hardship to the people. Sir Jean spotted an English raiding party attacking a nearby farmstead.
Avayez voce, vecchi come event.
L'île entière se meut.
Thomas und Ordonnance!
Quoi faut-il faire?
Christus zum Frei! Sie kommen vos Volkreich! Compagnon, preste para un tir. Si fait vos commandements.
The French knights defeated the English raiders, and Sir Guy de Rochefort joined Sir Jean's party.
J'obtempère aux Saint-Vitz. Page.
Sir Jean's search next brought him to Sir Geoffroy Dubois, whose squires were contending with a detachment of English longbowmen. The knights would use the great speed of their war horses to charge the archers and overwhelm them. The English longbowmen fell, but the French knights knew the enemy would attempt to retake the hilltop fortification and steeled themselves for further attacks.
Ennemi doit meurtrir! Avance! En la brou! Agnès vos pavoues! Oyez! Félix Moston! En la brou! Et comprens! Nos traverons! Qui meurtrir! Si fait vos commandements! Comme vos placed!
With Sir Geoffroy by his side, Sir Jean had secured the outpost.
Place, petit commandement, guardez vos compagnons!
Looking to secure his honor, a young knight held his ground on a bridge in Sir Jean's path.
Si comme vos volts. Donnez-moi vos habits! Aveillez votre et comprens.
Honorably conceding defeat in the duel, Sir Yves Charel joined the cause.
Si fait vos commandements. Reniez vos armées. Page, oyez. J'obtempère à Obsavitz.
Sir Jean entered the staging area for the tournament, where he prepared to choose which knights would join him in battle.
Por vostre service.
Each knight would be accompanied by his squires, young nobles in training to become knights themselves.
Bien savez quo.
Apertisets vostre
Sir Jean had selected his champions.
certes.
As the sun rose, the two sides entered the arena, ready for the first round of combat.
Grazie, veci comandament. Bien savez quoque nos advient. Ennemi doit être merveille.
Quoi faut-il faire?
Claiming an easy victory in the first round, the French champions left the arena to recover their strength.
Aveye voce, veci comandament. Metz vos donc, en avoué.
Refreshed and reinvigorated, the French knights returned to the arena for another round of combat. The combat of the 30 was about to decide which nation would control the Duchy of Brittany.
Metz vos donc, en avoué. Comme vos plaît, bien savez quo. Je te paie, chacune aime sa place. Compagnie Reviens, vos bagoues.
Triumphant, Sir Jean de Beaumanoir and his loyal knights claimed victory. The combat of the 30 had decided control of Brittany in favor of the French. Little did the two sides know, this was just the beginning of a bitter war that would outlive them all. After victory at the combat of the 30, the French faced devastating raids from England's Black Prince. But France's King John II was closing in. Jean finally caught the English near the city of Poitiers in September 1356. The French army outnumbered the English by thousands. King Jean himself joined the fight, but what seemed a certain victory for France soon turned into a nightmare. The English longbow devastated the mighty French army. An endless hail of arrows gutted the main French force. Then the English captured King Jean. The fight was over. The Battle of Poitiers was another catastrophic defeat for the French. The English had destroyed most of France's nobility in a single day. Now they turned their attention towards taking the French capital, Paris. The invaders marched unopposed towards Paris. The remains of some of the medieval walls of Paris still stand today. As the English army approached, the terrified locals sought shelter behind these defenses. Could France's capital withstand the full might of the Black Prince's army? The English Black Prince had raided the French countryside without mercy, and now his army had come for the capital. With the English on their doorstep, it fell to the French army and the people of Paris to defend the walls of their proud city.
Au Belestier! Au Belestier! Avant! Allons!
Hoping to avoid open battle, the French began fortifying the city, manning the walls and calling every available soldier to his post.
Advertance to demande.
As the French hastened their preparations, several detachments of English soldiers were spotted closing in on the city.
Oyez les ordres à votre commandement. Besoigne nos sat... Laissez-moi exploiter.
Attendez les commandements, Manance. Prest pour la besogne des guerres puissantes, Manance. Manance, prest à heurter. Vequier, mériens. Manance, prest à heurter. Veille à la mine.
Baillez-moi besoin. Vecuer mériens. Que va-t-il bastir? Que faut-il donc besoin? Manance, preste à œuvrer. Pouvons avoir mestier des bois.
The English showed no mercy, burning their way to Paris via 3 routes, each of which was home to villages and farms that supplied the capital.
En besoin. Giovanni Basti. Que faut-il donc besoin?
Oyez tout le monde.
Dostia Lores. Accordé. En besoin. Lors Basti, je
Oui, me faut-il faire?
Oyez tout le monde. Manan, si, vais exploiteurs. Giovanni.
Manance, ouvrons donc. Advert, marchiez arrière-moi, Trestouts. Tous y a Lauretz.
Oh, me fa au trail. Je vous amène mes riens.
vers où faut-il archer?
Having struck out at the English front line, the French had slowed the enemy's advance.
Vers où faut-il archer?
Tiennent d'armes, poste. McDonald's, les chevalcheurs sont ici au pays de Javon.
Que faut-il donc besoigner? Lors batige s'estu.
Besoigne. Lors ce batige s'estuie. Longtemps va-t-il demeurer?
Bonne besoigne est je fect. Oi, mestier bien base. Fouillast ma toute vie.
Sur quoi me faut-il traire?
As the French continued to rally their army, the English took the last of the surrounding villages and had almost encircled Paris.
Sur quoi me faut-il? Yes, dictez-moi, je gagne de mon gage. Dicte-moi mon Versailles.
With the countryside in flames and the English at the city gates, the French army steeled themselves for battle. Now came the capital's true test. Would the mighty walls of Paris hold against a fearsome English siege? The Parisian Guard raised the alarm as the English began their first assault on the city walls.
Ici, laisse commandement comme il vous plaise. Archers, les commandements tiennent. De demeurer, Wentlat Tukoi.
Chevaucheurs, soyez prêts! Faites mettre vos armes! Bravo!
The French army fought valiantly, repelling the first English attack.
Les chevaucheurs, j'obtempère à votre advice! Ainsi soit-il. Chascuns, et j'obtempère à Ox. Ici, nouvelles commandements.
Honor est obéi. Je veuille vos obéis. Chevalière, reste forestière.
Commandement pour les chevaucheurs. Où sont les commandements?
mouet, compagnon. Ayez les avions mouets.
Où faut-il archer?
Laissons les commandements. Avance! Avance par entier! Veillez par devant! Avance! Sigrets mouet, pro compagnon! Peignez les avions mouets, compagnon! Compagnon, sigrets mouet, pro compagnon!
Vers où faut-il archer?
Ojetz bien, nos despartan, et ici les commandements. Ça comme Chesmes was au avant, au belestier. Obelestrier, une small, mais à la voie. Obelestrier, jeunesse lidieur.
Bien savets quoque nos advienne.
Chesmes was always avant! Sayet vos armes, nous allons! Les chevaux de cheveux pour relève sur vos espèces! Juste à l'ennemi! 7 mètres aux armes! En mode! Peignez l'avion mouet! Givouez de Chester! L'heure est de besogne. Quand je commande, avant. Près ici, nouvelles commandements. Avant, à mon commandement. Attendez les commandements. Avant, compagnon.
Presse portrait archers, advançons.
Oyez bien, compagnon.
Je prie vos obéis.
Soyez prest, compagnon.
Vaietz mouet, advertans tous le monde. Cuida, vespuier. Tostia lorez.
Access vos, compagnon. Certes! Incontinent! Ensemble, chevalier! Allons! L'ennemi se voit! Access il faut chevalier, chevalier, tous prêts, je suis votre... Les chevaliers, écoutez! Chevalier, surveille à votre commandement! J'ai besoin! Les chevaliers se
Reste pour une sanglante attaque.
Il nous faut avant, à mon commandement.
En avoué.
The French defense of their capital held firm, wearing down the English invaders one by one.
En besoigne. Besoigne nos attentes, Manance. Pouvons savoir, mestier Manance, nos devons salaires.
Compagnons, relief, j'ai besoin. Baignez, avions moins. Allons, les commandements. Allons, l'ennemi nos C'est comme vos voldrez! L'heure est de besoigner. Soyez prest, compagnons. Retrayez vos appoints.
Que faut-il donc besoigner? Oh, me faut traiter. Je vais raparier ce manoir. J'exploite les réparements.
Acces vos, compagnons. Acces vos, nous allons!
Mais, commandement pour les chevaux.
Reste tous samsprest.
Les chevaux, chevaucheurs. On a 26 véhicules.
Soyez prest, compagnons. Avertissez votre cortège, compagnons.
Although the walls of Paris had been breached, the French could still hold the city, so long as its mighty landmarks did not fall. The enemy grew ever more desperate as their ranks thinned and their hopes of victory faded.
Les archères, allons brillement.
À l'arçon, chevalier.
Les autres, les...
Avance, compagnons.
Besoigner à faire?
Archers, prenez vos arquères à part main. Oyez les ordonnances.
Giovanni Bastir.
En besoin. Where? Y vais donc.
Que faut-il donc besoigner? En besoigne. Rappareillement en train.
Oh, me faut trahir? Oil, si toast. Oil, messieurs des mouets.
Honor est d'obéir.
Lorsque puissant quemi, rappareillement au train.
Dictez-moi une bersaise. Oui, à part main.
Feici les acustres-vous par des parties.
Acces mes vos. Alors, à part main.
Besoin y à faire? Y trace?
Attendez les commandements. Je suis votre servante.
Trăiți-mă, vă pot servi!
Nous sommes prêts. Acceptez vos ordres. Avant! Chevalier French-Poitiers! Tous sommes prêts. À l'arson, chevalier! Avertissez votre courage, compagnon! Incontinent! À l'arson, chevalier!
Que faut-il donc besogner?
Chevalier French-Poitiers! Si comme votre voldrez! Sommes en ordonnant hors votre service.
Que faut... Oi, citos! Appareillement en train! J'exploite les entières! Prenez votre entière à la veille!
Où sont les commandements?
Oil, mestier des mouets? Ouais!
Besogne à faire? Oil, si
Où sont les voies de cette terre?
Que faut-il donc besogner?
Bayetz,
En besogne.
me faut mal. J'exploite les réparements.
L'heure est de besoigner.
Dans la besogne.
Notre port, Jens d'Arms.
Sommes en tranquille, Selvanrona!
Oil, vestiaire de mouet, je vais appareiller ce manouet.
Moi, je monte l'estrière, comme stress. J'avance de moule de présence.
Bayetz, mouet, besogne.
On me faut trahir! Suis-je entraîné? Je vais rappareiller ce manoir!
Attendez les commandements.
Defeated and demoralized by the strength of the French defense, the Black Prince's army abandoned their siege of the capital. Paris celebrated victory, but this was not the last test the French would face in their struggle to win the war. The walls of Paris held out against the English onslaught. England's King Edward and the Black Prince abandoned the siege. They marched towards Chartres to try their luck at conquering a less formidable target. But before they could attack, a violent storm hit the army. Killing 1,000 English soldiers in a tempest of hail and freezing winds. To Edward, this Black Monday disaster seemed like divine retribution. A sign that it was time to stop waging war and make peace with France's King Jean. But even as peace between kings was reached, the people of France were still living in bloodshed and turmoil. Between 1358 and 1370, France was in chaos. Peasant uprisings, rampaging bands of mercenaries, and civil war ravaged the country. Peasants rose in rebellion, killing their lords and wreaking havoc. Mercenary bands also roamed the land. Known as routiers, they had once been hired by the English to fight against the French, but were cut loose when peace was reached. They systematically ravaged and pillaged towns across France. And with King Jean prisoner in England, his son Charles the Dauphin faced homegrown attacks on his rule by powerful French lords, beset from all sides. The Dauphin's forces had to regain control over their own country. Having only recently been crowned King of France, Charles V dispatched his army to the French-held village of Évreux to forge order from chaos. From here, the army would move to extinguish three major threats: bands of roving mercenaries harrying the countryside, a peasant uprising, and attacks from a rival for the French crown, Charles of Navarre. The French army would start by reclaiming the rebel-held villages of Cocherel, Jouy, and Croissy.
Quid Labour, Parat, Keller, Sipois. Restituo. Quid me, Labour. Parats pour Labourard. Sourmoinements. Colonnes. Parats et Proms. Retourneau comme Materia. Allez.
Quoi d'abord? Prat et Terra. Parat pour venir.
Parat pour venir. Cos'è sera massonata?
Quoi de mai? Io maçon.
Quid Labour. Vado Labourard. Quid me? Labour Spérance. Andesqued. Chioma sono la cose? Si somes. Cos'è sera massonata? Colonnes, fight! Andesqued. Movo. Vado Labourard. Buon Labour.
As the French army struggled to regain control of the countryside, they were struck by a band of English routiers. These mercenaries had been cut loose by the English army and were plundering the countryside in order to make a living.
Attention.
Labour Spérance. Buon Labour. Sagui. Buona ciel pour la matériel.
Arrêtez, écoutez!
Cursor, obéissance!
Inclinez, écoutez!
Somers parat! Guide cursore! Move et descure! Verde
The French forces eliminated the routier attack, but more were still raiding the countryside in search of provisions and riches. The routier demanded payment from the French, or they would continue their horrifying raids.
Commandé. Certé. À grand course. Certé. Que demandes? Bédessou. Si. Bene. Si voleis. Comprendo. Cursor obedience. Comprendo. Nos menacent. Oye, oy. Caval parambulo. Si voleis. Cavallo ici.
Si sommes. Io ma sono la côte. Ouais, mais. Ma demande, colonès. C'est comme materia.
Menacé par nos. Cours grande course. Oye, oye. Cavallo ici.
Dolme bien. Chevalier. Comme me mandes.
Mandesqued. Cos'è sarà massonata?
Les maçons sont ici. Si. Qu'une grande course. Oye, oye.
Equites attendant ici. Ok.
Caval qu'une grande course. Respect. Si voleis.
Parade pour venir. La bourre. Secco materia. Ascolte bene. Comme me. Vado la bourre. La bourre y affecte. Retourno comme materia.
Mandesqued. Laborans en lemans. Morvo. Inerans. Qued labour?
Vale. Que mandes?
Parate.
Si. Tourma.
Labour sperans. Seco materia. Parats pour labourar.
Que demandes? Un boulot. Cavallo ici. Respect. Oye, oye.
Prompte.
Homes, preparate. Entendo.
Cursor obedience.
Si sommes. Cose sera ma sonata. Mande squid.
Ryan Topanov!
Intuitem sunt palatos! Ite ferir l'ennemi! Si comprendo!
Benefit!
The French discovered the Routier hidden camp and could put an end to the English raids if they could destroy the camp.
Si, cavallo ici. Momente si, arquer! Si,
Buon labour. Quid me?
Arquer.
Audite! In avant, servientes!
Preparate, arquer! Oye! Parambola! Yecte seguitas! Parate, entende! Preparate, arquer!
Parade pour venir. Vado labura.
Lanquier parate!
Felice et beat.
Cavallo!
Parade pour venir. Si sommes. Cose sera ma sonata. Quid labour?
Arco parate!
Mande squid. Parade pour laborar.
Quid ordine?
Io ma sono la cose. Benefit!
Arquier parate!
Quid labour? Parats pour labourar. Mande squid? Io ma sono la cose.
Lanquier parate!
Benefect. Pour venir.
Arco parate! Vale!
Cavallerio, parade!
Si sommes.
Arquier parate!
Quid me? Sito. Io ma sono la cose.
Sagitta in arco!
Me plect.
Lanquier
Attention!
Arquier
Sito!
Parate, serviette!
Un instant bataillon! Scarafort m'attend!
Arco parate!
Cavallarios parade! El Victoria!
Tourma!
Quid mandes?
Sagitta in arco! Che mandes?
Si, parade!
Lanquier parate!
Quid labour spérance. Vado laborar. Quid me? Cose sera ma sonata. Buon labour.
Cavallerio, parade!
Si sommes. Vado labourar.
Bene audite! In avant! In avant!
Buon lavoro.
Pronta. Sì, sito.
Udite, servente.
Vale. Quito mon sit.
Quid ordines?
Si. En boulot. Les Smolsons sont ici. Qu'une grande course. Oyez, oyez. Qu'une grande course.
Quiete, cavallo! Quiete, cavallo! Quiete, cavallo! Obeio. Cavalario, sparat! Sparat! Scara formata!
Momenti, sì, bene. Ok, in avanti. Obedio. Momenti, sì, archier.
Quiete, cavallo!
Parate, in avanti, archier.
Scara formata! Udite, serviente! Sì, sparat! Cavalario, sparat!
Parat, trao. Preparate, archier. Daniel.
Udite, bene. Bene, udite. Zitto. Attenzione. Dite.
Parate, archiers.
Ambula. Cavalario, parat.
Demandes. Que demandes?
Quid mandes? Udite, serviente. In avanti. Udite. Sì. Attenzione. Odio.
Tourma. Simovo. Archier parade.
Bene, udite. Obeio. Udite. Bene. Odio. In avanti, servientes. Via sultan.
Sagita in arco.
Audite. Secund commandement. Ordine tenet.
Et Jellyman demande.
Ok. des cavales! Cavallarios para! Prende! Espero tu mandamento. Scara formata! Sito! Siete, cavallarios para!
With the Routier camp destroyed, mercenary attacks were no longer a threat.
Odite. Si è
Attention, est facile!
arco parat, diligence. Labor speranza. Quid labor? Cos'è sarà massonata?
Obeio.
Archier parat.
Si soves. Retorno con matériel.
Scara format!
Comprendo.
Parat! Adens por battaglia! Cavallarios parat! Parat!
Odite. Allons-y.
Audit quitamus! Siete, cavals! Adens por battaglia! Encommande succession! Scara formata! Odio!
Cavale parat.
Parat! Cavallarios quitamus!
Me plaît.
Ordi, si, comprendo. Mauvais tourbes!
Cavale parat. Perfecté.
Attention! Novos ordines! Il déférit l'ennemi! Equite sunt paratos! Secut mandaments, come hawks!
In taking the village of Jouy, the French army was closer to stemming the peasant rebellion and regaining control.
Parats pour la bourra.
The village of Croissy, rich in gold deposits, was a crucial town for the French to reclaim.
Speranza. Io ma sono la cose. Demandes.
The central monastery town of Cocherel would continue to send out rebel attack parties to weaken the French army.
Si somes, comme i trenca. Qued labor? Andes qued?
The French army defeated the rebels at Croissy and took control of the gold-rich village. The central monastery town of Cocherel was still under the control of rebel peasants. The French army would have to take it before they could launch an assault on Charles of Navarre.
Dites ce qu'on me demande.
Parats pour la bourra. Io ma sono la cose.
Barats pour la bourra. Et c'è li m'en demande.
Mandes movenskito. Cose sarà ma sonata.
Ordi comme me mondes. Move tourbeur!
La mondes vido, si. Cos'è sera massonata?
Equites sunt paratos. Chevalier! Equites attendentisi! Io vivo! Li muore! Parace, move! Equites in avant! Equites, attentio! Quitamus! Dolme bien!
Quid me?
Attention, Siboliers! Est facile, cavalier! Si, comprendo.
Beneffect.
Buon lavoro.
Ordine tene, est facile, cavalier! Orchestre. Iniminos traient! Equites in avant!
Quoi d'abord? Sur moine mince.
Quid labour? Reflect.
Maîtresse! Equitas in avant! Comme mes monstres!
Ambola! Archer!
Equitas sunt paratos!
Archer! Archer! Batez l'archer!
En linea, equitas!
Momentesi, archer!
Dolme bien! Interferir l'ennemi! Parate, si comprendo! Chevalier! Second mandement!
Ayuda!
Equitas attendant ici!
The French army took control of the rebel villages, and the peasant uprising was subdued. But to keep control over the region, they would need to defend its center of influence, the monastery at Cocherel. Northeast of Cocherel, Charles of Navarre's army had established a fortified camp. The King of Navarre sought to make himself ruler of France as well. He intended to press his claim by destroying the newly arrived royal forces.
Presse portrait. Archers, les commandements vieilles. Archers, oyez commandements. Dicte-moi mon Versailles. Aime besoigne. Oyez les ordonnances. Chevalier Bastien.
Oh, me fa au trail. Bien me plaît, ça a œuvré aux chances.
Reste suisse de votre service.
Une autre Versailles.
Votre plaisir.
Dites-moi ma besoin.
Was euch donc?
Dicte votre plaisir. Certes.
Access Metzvos, compagnon. En chevalière.
Les autres, Certes.
Sur quoi me faut-il traire? Compagnon? Compagnon? Nous allons.
Où est votre plaisir?
Oil, mystère des morts va servir.
Die Gewohnschafts- und Recht.
De vers
Die
où faut-il?
Welt. Commandement pour les chevaux
Ennemi pointoyé!
Attendez les commandements. Si comme vos volontés.
Bien vos vertus guide m'avouer. Certes. Dicte votre plaisir.
Oh, me faut trahir.
Tous de ya, Lauretz.
Thomas und Ordonnanz. Je suis votre servant. Access Metzvos, nous allons.
Belle œuvre. Que faut-il donc besoigner?
Donnez-moi vos services.
Pays au com... Archer, voir à Parmain.
Reste nos soyons. Mactons nous en l'avouer.
L'heure est de besoigner. Certes.
Besoigner à faire? Bien me plaît, ça ouvre aux champs.
Dicte votre plaisir.
Dictez-moi une Versailles.
Preste par une sanglante hâtie.
Access Metzvos, compagnon. Assayez vos armes. Nous allons. Si comme vos voldres. Wo sunt die Kommandement? Orsus, au destrière.
Et comme le volet. Archer, le ferai-je donc?
Régimendement. Armes des forêts et avance. Oh, si sera fait.
Attendez les commandements. Allons! L'ennemi nous agouette!
Reste tout est envoyez pour la bataille. Soudain. Make envoyé.
Je suis votre serveuse.
Brest, si ouais. On baisse les curés.
Oyez les commandes. Seconde votre commandement.
Mais, Monsieur Page à vos commandements.
Compagnon, chez vos ordonnances.
Acest metz vos. Bien oi.
Quelles dictes moué, ma besogne.
Alors son fils.
Ici les commandements.
Alors, ça barmait. Nos despartons briemant.
Mais, et mon destrier sommes presque.
Obeleste paré.
Quels sont vos commandements?
Commande.
Attentis. Régiments. Oyez.
Soyez
Avant, compagnon.
pour votre service.
Oyez les commandements. À parmi.
Attendez les commandements. Incontinent.
Pushing up the hillside, the French discovered Charles of Navarre's camp.
Acest metz vos. Nos despartons briemant. Oui, à part. Tous faites vos engines. Avance.
Attentis.
Soyez prêts.
Oyez véhicule.
Chevalier! Prêts, tous sommes prêts! Alors,
Obeleste. Acest metz vos.
chevalier!
Obeleste. Je gagne mon gagne. Tous faites soit sport des guerres.
Incontinent seront tués.
Die Engins de siècle. Espatet stop.
À l'arson, chevalier!
Armes des forêts et avant. Armes sort du fourreau.
The French army had repelled Charles of Navarre, stemmed the revolt, and held back the raids of the routiers. In the struggle for control over France's lands, the king still clung to power.